Hello, beautiful people. I want to come on here and I really just want to acknowledge and celebrate what's happening in the world. There's so many beautiful things that are happening amongst the, hurt and pain and anger and frustration and all the emotions that are happening in the planet. And in our times of breakdowns, it really is for our breakthroughs. And so much of the things that I talk about and believe have become even more so true to me this week. But I have to say, if you would have asked me a week ago where I thought I'd be today, I would have no clue. This has been the most transformational week, probably of my life, so I'm extremely grateful for it. But what I really want to talk about is this awakening that we are in and blessed to be a part of. And I believe we chose to be a part of this. It's why we are actually here. If we're currently on this planet, I believe that we're all here for a purpose, for a role. And in this whole experience, we all have our place. We all have our path. I talked about that on a couple videos. I don't even know how many days ago. That it's just choose your path and like be all in on your path. And I've seen a lot of that today because I know there has been a lot of calling people out, and I know myself, I've had a really strong stance of, I want to challenge people to get outside of their comfort zones and just stretch a little further. And so I know that I've been a part of that, and I see and I hear people needing that compassion right now. Even as much as I've talked about find your path and walk that, there's more compassion that's needed because that's what the collective is calling for. So I want to bring more of that to the table myself. So thank you, everyone that's putting that out there. And I think that's, again, another key point of this awakening is really listening to each other and plugging in. That's another thing I was talking about, plug in. And when we can plug in, we can stay close to the fire. When we're close to the fire, we are all connected through that energy, and we can keep these conversations going because they're so worth it and so needed. And what's so great is there's so many people talking now that it's literally like putting our cards on the table. And when we put our cards on the table, we're showing people what we have. I talked to one of my girls today that I work with, that I coach, and she was saying, we're all just not on the same page. And I was sharing with her that we've never been on the same page. And in some ways it's impossible to be on the same page, because even as I speak this right now into my phone, whoever is going to watch this is going to watch this, and each and every single one of you will have a different experience of how my voice delivers into you. And that's based on your views and your experiences from your past. And our past is how we make sense of the world that we're currently experiencing. And so for people in the Black community, this is like so much of what they've been experiencing that's coming to the surface that a lot of us are like, whoa, this is so much to take on. But it's been such a beautiful thing because in a lot of ways, some people have been scared to go outside. Some people, there's been a lot of, I think, senses of fear and uncertainty and just frustration and all these things and not understanding and injustices, all this stuff. And this is how they've felt for so long. And the what I really had to check in with myself this week and everything is like that ignorance and the privilege and the things that like literally have blocked our eyes, that now this week it's like, oh, we're starting to peek out or reveal, and starting to see something that we've never seen before, or that we have never chosen to see and invest the time to really see. And this has been a perfect storm, in the words of Michael Beckwith. I watched his live today, which I took notes, and there's a couple things I want to talk about, but he said this is a perfect storm. And these were all the things I've been talking about with my roommate, that COVID-19, and this is why, again, this year 2020, like, this is for us. And we were saying this, I think a lot of spiritual workers and people in my arena, my friends, like, it's like this is happening for us, and we're kind of in that space. And I want to share this out here on Instagram, because some people, the world is like falling apart, but they see the falling apart, whereas I think for others, depending on what the experiences they've had in their life, like once you've seen things fall apart enough, you start to realize it falls apart to be rebuilt. It falls apart to be broken through. And this is what is happening right now. And so, yeah, it's just, this is a perfect storm with COVID-19, unemployment, and then now all of this. And it's been the time that we can actually sit down and focus on this. It's so divine. I truly believe this is so divine, everything that is happening. And it doesn't mean that's going to be easy, and a lot of anger and frustration and all these things are transmuting, and I can already feel it. It's transforming into more passion. Today I feel even more so excitement for the things that are to come, because even my confusion and culture shock and all these things of the veil being lifted and me finally opening my eyeballs and taking my own responsibility in things, it's like once you do that, then you're free, and then from there, that those angers and stuff turn into passions. And I really want to inspire you guys and like just encourage anyone that's still in that space of to just take it in, feel the things you need to feel, go through the emotions, walk the path that works for you right now in whatever way that is, in you adding value to this space that we're all sharing. And there is light. there is light, and there is just freedom on the other side of owning the things that we have not been owning. And so I'm excited, guys. Let me share some stuff. Because something that I really liked about this live, and you guys can go check it out, Michael Beckwith, I think Michael B. Beckwith on Instagram. He actually is the, person who created Agape Church, or I guess it's spiritual center. I always think of it kind of like as a church, but a spiritual center here in LA, and agape actually means love. So he was talking about, we've had all this passion and kind of like anger that's now turning into passion. And now we need to look at vision. And so that's kind of where my space was today. So I understand not everyone's going to be in the vision state yet. They're going to be in some other spaces, and that's cool. So maybe I'm talking to, I really felt today that I needed to talk to the other coaches that I know, spiritual teachers, light workers, all those people, and really like helping with that vision. And us, there's already a bunch of people who've set out this vision, right? So people who have been working in this movement and all this stuff. And so it could be vision for this movement, or it could be even vision of how you now are going to move forward, helping your own clients. Vision, even if you're like a stay-at-home mom, like what's the vision for your family, right? So how are we going to now implement these new ways of being for our family? Because, as far as I'm concerned, the old world doesn't exist anymore. It can't. Like, you can't unknow what you know. Like, it's like we know too much now. We took the pill. We're all being Neo, and breaking out of this matrix. And so we all are going to have a new vision that we get to step into, which I think can be exciting. And from that vision, we're going to create strategy, and then working on implementation and how we're actually going to have things move forward. So again, for whoever's listening to this, go to the modalities that work for you, meaning go to a mentor or a coach, or prayer or meditation, or whatever it is that you do, to ask yourself, in the words of Oprah, what is the next best move? And what is the next best move? And start to just take a step every day. Like, how can I stretch myself a little bit more? I love the honoring of where people are, 100. And once you've done the honoring of where you are, then I would say put it out on the table. This is what I was doing today as well. Put it out on the table for the people that are for you, to have them help hold you accountable, right? That's what we do in coaching. It's like, how can I hold you accountable? What are we going to get done this week, right? And the conversations I was having, if anybody wants to borrow from what I've been saying, is, all right, my cards are on the table. And if you see something within me that I can shift or change, or that isn't working or isn't landing in a way that maybe collectively just it wouldn't be heard or whatever. Or if I'm out of line in any type of way, I am open and I am here to receive. I want to be a student as far as I am concerned. Any human I interact with, even through the screen, and I'm on your Instagram and you're speaking, I am your student in that moment, and I'm here to learn. And I want to tell people this because I want them to feel courageous to have a voice, because I know I have a strong personality. I've been told that many times. Lizzie, like, your voice is strong, you're strong, and some people feel like they can't um, coach me or teach me, and that's also my responsibility, because if someone doesn't feel like they can coach me, then that's me needing to open up, right? So again, there's just so much fun transformation and work that we get to like dig into, and I want to be mindful of the word fun. That's what transformation is for me, but not that, I want to respect of where people are at. That's the biggest thing. So I do the same thing with my husband. I've told him, I'm like, no matter what you say, you can't hurt me. What will hurt me is you not speaking. So I want the people around me to speak. Okay. And that's us holding each other accountable. And I think that that's going to be a big thing, because if we're asking for police officers to hold each other accountable, we need to help hold each other accountable. And on that, once we start holding each other accountable, okay, cool, let's challenge each other. Let's push each other. Like, okay, if we're here, well, can we get here? Can I challenge you to get here? Can we push a little further? Like, if today we just go like a millimeter of a millimeter of a millimeter further, it's going to be better than anything, because to stay in our comfort zone, that has been the problem, right? That to stay in the comfort zone is the way of the old world, and now this is a new world. We are now building a new world. So what is that vision? And for anyone who wants to take this on in their own personal life, right? I've been using this like week of Black Lives Matter, and it's just, again, just giving me all these things to look at in my own world, my own life. So if people want to use this, you can use it in any aspect of your life, whether it's with your business or your health or your relationships or whatever. And even if if it's too much to take on this whole thing right now with this movement and with this new world that we're creating, at least work on your world. What can be your new vision today, and your strategy and the implementation that you can put into place? Because even by you doing one thing, even if it's like you eating healthier that day, I'm telling you, everything is interconnected. And when you work on yourself, you are a part of the movement. You are doing something. You are healing. And that's why it's so important right now that we all do our inner work. We all do the inner work. Okay, this is getting kind of long. One thing that I did want to say is that our phones, this again is from Michael Beckwith. He was talking about our phone is a global brain. And right now we're in this space of global brain. He's like, and we want to be able to, it is good because we can instantly inform people, right? This is why this is blowing up in so many ways. It's like almost like our protection, not our protection, it's like our weapon, right? The phone. But it's looking at this global brain, our phone, and we want to transform it into the global heart, right? That's something I've been working on for years, is working on my compassion, and just stepping into compassion and how we can learn to see from other perspectives, right? So I wanted to point that out. And then just acknowledging kind of what I was just saying about putting all the things on the table. I want to celebrate that me as a white female in the world, there have been so many times that I feel, okay, wait, watch how I say this, make sure that it's, politically correct. And, you feel sometimes like you're walking on eggshells in certain conversations, and you're like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And our intention in our mind, we're thinking, okay, this is because I care. This is because I'm coming from my heart. I'm coming from a good place. But so much of what has been revealed to me is I was doing that all wrong. And Soul, who did an interview with Twitch, he was talking about right now is not the time to be censored. It is not the time to be censored. And I really took that because I got it in that moment, because I do transformational work. Like, this is like my life, and I understand if you can't have a real conversation, you don't got shit. So I was totally out of integrity with how what I'm talking about and preaching about and coaching around, and I wasn't even doing it in this area because it didn't feel safe. So I want to celebrate and say thank you now that we can have these conversations, and these conversations are just, oh my gosh, like, words are everything. They get us to the next level because that's how we understand, get to now learn each other. And, if we literally all, even though most of the people I follow, they speak English, even though we all speak English, we don't speak the same language. You talking about something, I'm talking about something, we don't understand each other. And because I do relationship coaching, I come in and I'm like translator, and then I'm working to teach each other, okay, this is the language y'all are speaking, and then they learn to speak the same language, and then they have a lot more harmony. And that's what now we're doing with this conversation, right? And I want to say too that right now the conversation is, yes, Black Lives Matter. That's the conversation. But it will, again, like in time, it's going to domino effect into all the other areas because there are so many things. And in that, I talked about this in another video too. There's so many things going on in the world. You don't have to solve them all. Find your lane. What I learned when I was getting my coaching certification, when I was doing Life on Fire, they said, what are the things that piss you off in the world? Or what are the things that they're just like in your heart? And the reason they were kind of coming from what pisses you off in the world is because that's the stuff you're going to be passionate about, you're angry about, right? That's what this is about. Like, people are writing, people are fucking shit up because they're angry. And the thing is, anger and passion and stuff, it's misdirected love. That's all it is. It's love that's misdirected, and it doesn't know what it's doing in that moment. It doesn't know where to go. But we need to express it. It's a very important emotion. We don't want to push that away. We want to embrace it and feel it so then we can transmute it into passion and then, moving forward into what we're doing now. And so, anywho, I'm kind of like losing my train of thought. But we just need to figure out what's our lane, what are we passionate about. And the reason I've been so passionate about this subject is because what mine is love and freedom. Love and freedom. Those are the two things that define who I am. I've used for years the hashtag rich and free. Because I always said I'm going to live my richest life, which was in honor to my grandfather's last name, Richardson. And I want to live my truest freedom. And the most important thing to me was freedom. I would die for it. So how am I not going to be so invested in this? Because I'm just like, this is so much of who I am, and I want to free people from the prisons of their minds. That's why I coach. I want to free their heart so they can live and like feel connected with someone, right? So what are you passionate about, or what pisses you off? And start like just discovering what there is to discover in those spaces, and start to just step, and eventually you're gonna find your path. But you gotta step, and that's again where I have been kind of pushing this week, guys, and I apologize if I pushed anyone the wrong way, but if it hurt in any way, or if I offended, or like did anything that it was like a resistance, like negative type of emotion, that's an access point. That's like a boom, cool, found the doorknob, let's open it, let's step through, another level, another devil, right? That's what they say. You hit another level, right? You had a breakthrough. Some other shit's gonna go wrong, and then guess what? You're gonna work through that breakthrough, and then guess what? You're at another level with another problem, right? Another thing to solve. But that's why we're here. We came here to transform. We came here to up level. We came here to continue the evolution and growth of our soul, the collective, God's work, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, find that path, guys. And the last thing I'll just say is, this was a quote that they shared at the end, and it says, aspire to inspire before you expire. And again, that ties into kind of what I'm saying in this space of your life is now. In as much as things can be scary, your life is now. Other people's lives are now. And that's why we want to act with urgency, and yet at the same time, like how I just did, close your eyes and make sure you find those right words. But you close your eyes and you learn to trust your inner guide. You learn to trust your gut. You learn to trust yourself. You learn to trust your soul. And let that start to guide you, and just step, whatever that looks like, on whatever path it is. If it has nothing to do with any of these things, but you know that's what you came here to do, step, my friend. Because that step actually helps us all. Okay? I love you guys. Thank you for anyone that's watched this. This is a hell long. I appreciate you. P.S. I don't even think I said it. This is day 239, or I don't even know. I think 39 of my 365-day adventure / challenge. And just shout out to this graph artist. Is Jason Naylor, and he does all kinds of stuff on love, and he's my favorite graffiti artist. So, okay, bye guys. Have a good evening, night, and cheers to 2020, the year of the awakening, best year yet. And I'm so grateful that I got to be here on planet Earth with each and every single person on this planet. We're all a part of it. We're all here for a reason. Bye, guys.